Yeah, hi everyone. See, I'm going to start explaining about JDK8 features. See, first of all, so what is the purpose of JDK8 features? Why it became so important in Java? So that is the first thing we need to understand. The reason is what? As we know, we are learning programming just to develop applications. Using programming, we develop applications. What is the purpose of application? Only for two reasons. One is to store the information. Second one is to process the information. One is for storing. Second one is performing operations on information. Only for two reasons. Now here the question is, where we are storing the information and how we are storing the information. The first thing, in collections, we have seen clearly. In collections, if you want to store a single value, one primitive data type is enough. If you want to store multiple values of same type, we are using array. We are using array. If you are storing, if you are storing more than one value of different data types, we are using class. Suppose employee has employee ID integer type, employee name is a string type, employee salary is a double type. We are storing in the form of object. Single value means using primitive variable. Multiple values of same type means what? Using array. Multiple values of different data types means what? Using object. For example, multiple records if I want to store. Nothing but multiple objects if I want to store. For that, we are using the collection. Suppose list of objects, list of employee details I want to store. A list which contains objects. This is actually what collection is. What? Collection. Either you store directly into the list, or we have another option that is very important option. Normally, of course, permanently we store the information in the database. In the database, in record format, we will store the data. In record format, like in a table, we store the information. Suppose this is employee table, consider employee table or account table. That information we are storing into this table, like employee number, employee name, employee salary, which contains records, is a first record, is a second record. Multiple records we can store into the database. First, we need to fetch the information from the database. But for processing, sir, where you will store? The records become a list. All the records become list. That is what? List of employees, or list of customers, list of students, list of objects. After fetching the information, fetch from the database. After fetching from the database, store into collection. Store into collection. Simple. So once we store into the collection, how? In the form of objects. This is one object. This is one object. This is one object. Is connected. Is connected. Is connected. Which contains the information. Here, account number, account holder name, salary will store here. Account number, account holder name, salary, some address, that address will store here. Here it is a second record. Second record. That second record will store here. That address. That address. That address will store here. See. First remember the point. Once again I am explaining why we are learning programming. Simple reason. Using programming, we are developing applications. For more clearly, I'm explaining, taking one example of banking application or taking example of employee management system, any one application. What is the purpose of application? Application used to store information is the first point. First, store information. After storing the information, depends on their requirement, we need to perform operations. But to perform operations here, we need to fetch the data first. Perform operations on data. To perform operations, first we need to fetch. Fetch means what? Getting the information. So once you get the information, where you will store? We are storing that information into a collection object. We know that collections, list or set or map or any other collection. So as of now, right, we learned how to just get the information and how to store collections, list of employees, we have already seen. Then how to filter the data. Sir, what is filtering the data? I just want to display only the employees with salary 35,000. I want to display only the employee name with Annie. I want to display only employees belongs to Hyderabad. I want to display the employees age between 21 and 28. I want to display the employee details with minimum 5 years of experience. This is called filtering the information. Is nothing but processing the information. But for this processing of information, in early days, so much of code we written. So much of code we written. But later, they introduced the concept of JDK8 features. Data processing is very, very important. Application development becomes so easy nowadays. So easy. But day by day, the data increasing rapidly. Maybe account transactions. 1 rupee also is a transaction nowadays. Right? Maybe a YouTube content, maybe a social media content, anything. Application will not change. Application work is what? Simply storing the data. How many number of transactions? The same code only will work okay. But data is slowly, rapidly increasing. Then how to process the data? How to process the data? This is the main point. For processing the data only, they introduced the concept of JDK8 features. JDK8 features. So what are the JDK8 features? What are JDK8 features? So many are there. Why all these things introduced? I'll explain. Okay. Static and default methods in interface. Static and default methods in interface. In interview, if they ask, tell me some of the JDK8 features. You should list out these things. Static and default methods, functional interface. What is a functional interface? Next one, what is the lambda expression? What is lambda expression? So what is a method reference and why they introduced method references? So what is the for each method and what is its advantage? What is the streaming concept? What is parallel streaming concept? What is parallel streaming concept? What are predicates? Right? So these are the few JDK8 features. Sir, why all these things introduced? In interview, suppose if they ask the question, list out JDK8 features. These features you need to tell. Why? What is the purpose? Why they introduced means we will store the information in collection. Collection means collection of objects. Collection means collection of objects. Once you store the information, if you want to process the information, we use what? JDK8 features. For storing purpose, we are using collection. For processing purpose, we are using JDK8 features. This is the simple answer should come out of your mouth whenever they ask in interview. That is.